I haven't told you about my children before today. There are truths a man carries deep within him, not out of shame, but out of the fragile hope that silence might protect what words could break. I kept this part of my life hidden from you, not because I wanted to deceive you, but because I feared how it might change the way you look at me. In your eyes, I've always found a kind of purity that makes me forget the weight of my past. And perhaps selfishly, I wanted to keep that, to live in the light of your love without the shadows of yesterday creeping in. But the time for silence has passed. You deserve to know every part of me, even the ones I've locked away behind duty and regret. Before I ever knew you, life demanded choices from me that I wasn't ready to make. A prince does not always live for himself. Sometimes he lives for the crown. I was young, bound by tradition, and pushed into a life where my heart had no say. And from that chapter came my children, innocent souls who never asked for the complexities of royal blood. They became my only true peace in a life otherwise dictated by politics and appearances. Yet, as years passed, I realized that even love born from obligation can grow into something tender. I learned to cherish them, to see in their laughter the one pure thing my title could never corrupt. When you came into my world, everything changed. You brought color where there had only been formality, warmth where there had been silence. You reminded me what it felt like to be human again, to love without rules, without fear. But with that awakening came conflict. How could I tell you about the life I had before, the responsibilities that still tie me to a past I never chose? I was afraid that truth would make you step back, that you'd see me not as the man who loves you, but as the prince burdened with complications. So I stayed quiet, not because you didn't deserve honesty, but because I couldn't bear to lose the peace you brought me. Every time I looked into your eyes, I wanted to speak the truth. It sat on my tongue, heavy and restless, waiting for the right moment. But love makes cowards of even the strongest men. I told myself that I would wait for the perfect time. A time when you knew my heart enough to see past the scars it carried. Yet there is no perfect moment for truth. Is there only courage? And tonight I choose courage. You must know that my silence was never betrayal. It was fear disguised as love. I worry that this revelation might cast a shadow between us, but I hope it won't, because the man who stands before you now is not the same one bound by those old chains. The man you love, the man who loves you, is someone reborn through your presence. You have given me a kind of freedom I never thought I could have. And for that, I owe you nothing less than the full truth of who I am. My children are not ghosts of my past. They are a part of my soul. And if you can accept me, you must accept that they exist within my story too, not as secrets, but as part of the man who stands before you. There are nights when I imagine you meeting them, your gentleness softening their guarded hearts, your smile bridging the distance that years of formality have built between me and them. I imagine them laughing again freely, the way they used to when they were young. You would understand them. I think you would see the innocence in their eyes, the quiet sadness that mirrors my own, and maybe then you'd see why I could never speak of them lightly. They are not just my children. They are the reminder that even in the loneliest chapters of my life, love still found a way to exist. So now you know the truth that I've hidden, not to protect myself, but to protect what we share. I tell you this because I trust you with my heart, my past, and my future. And though this truth may change the way you see me, I hope it doesn't change the way you love me, because every secret I kept was born from wanting to build something new with you, something untainted by the pain of yesterday. If you can still look at me after this, still call me yours, then I know that what we have isn't just love, it's destiny, choosing us again despite the past that tried to keep us apart. There are moments in a man's life when the past catches up to him, not as a storm, but as a whisper, a quiet reminder that truth cannot stay buried forever. I feel that whisper now, echoing through every corner of my heart. The faces of my children return to me in flashes, their laughter, their questions, their trust, and with every memory comes the sting of guilt, not because I love them too little, but because I feared that speaking of them might make you love me less. It is a cruel thing, this fear, to love two different worlds and worry that by embracing one, you'll lose the other. There were nights when I would lie awake thinking of how to tell you. I rehearsed the words in silence, hoping to find a way that wouldn't break the magic between us. But each time, the thought of your expression, that flicker of surprise, the quiet hesitation in your eyes, stopped me. I wanted you to see me as yours, not as someone bound to another life. I didn't want to share you with ghosts from my past, even if those ghosts were my own blood. And so I kept it all locked away, convincing myself that love could exist untouched by history. But love built on silence is fragile and can no longer to live in the cracks between truth and fear. My children are the purest part of me. Even though my world tried to shape them into heirs before they could understand what innocence meant. I remember their tiny hands clutching mine during ceremonies, their eyes wide and uncertain, just as mine had been once. I tried to protect them from the weight of expectations, but even princes are powerless against destiny. Perhaps that is why I hold them so dearly, because I see in them what I lost long ago. They are not reminders of duty, but of humanity. They are my heartbeat outside the walls of the palace, the echo of who I once was before I became this, a man torn between crown and love. When I met you, something in me awakened that I thought had died long ago. You looked at me not as a ruler, not as a man with a burden name, but simply as someone capable of being loved. You saw beyond the title, beyond the rumors, beyond the stoic silence that shields my heart. And for the first time, I wanted to be truly known. But to be known means to reveal, and to reveal means to risk. I was not ready then. I am ready now. You deserve to know the whole of me, not the version polished by royal decorum, but the flawed, vulnerable man who still trembles when he imagines losing you. I can't deny that part of me feared your reaction. Would you pull away, thinking I'd built our love on half-truths? Or would you understand, as I pray you will, that silence was never meant as betrayal? It was protection, a fragile attempt to keep the beauty of what we had untainted by the world's complications. But now I see that true love doesn't hide from the past. It embraces it, heals it, and makes it part of something greater. I want you to know my world completely. The pain, the love, the responsibilities, because I want to build a future with you, not a fantasy. Sometimes when I watch my children from afar, I see a future I wish you could be part of. I imagine you among them, your laughter blending with theirs, your presence softening the air around us. They would love you. I know they would, because they would see in you what I do, the gentleness that could quiet any storm, the strength that could hold an entire kingdom's worth of sorrow and still smile. I dream of a day when we can all stand together, not as fragments of different lives, but as one, a family forged by love, not by circumstance. If this truth changes nothing between us, if you can still take my hand and see me as the man who adores you endlessly, then I will know that love has conquered everything. Duty, distance, fear, and time. You are the one person before whom I no longer wish to hide My past is not perfect, but it has shaped me into the man who stands before you now. One who knows the value of love, the weight of honesty, and the rare miracle of finding someone like you. And if you can look at me and still say my name with love, then I swear before heaven itself, I will spend the rest of my life proving that you were always worth every truth I was afraid to tell. There are times I stand by the window at dawn, watching the first light spill across the kingdom, and I wonder if you're awake somewhere thinking of me. I imagine the world slowly waking around you, the quiet hum of life, the calm before chaos, and I wish I could be part of those mornings, but then reality returns, and with it, the weight of what I've just shared with you. My truth is not an easy one to hold. I know it comes with questions, maybe doubts, and perhaps even pain, yet I hope you understand that the man you love did not hide his children from you out of shame, but out of love, love for you, and love for the fragile balance I've tried to protect between my heart and my duty. When I think back to my past, it doesn't feel like a life I lived. It feels like a story told about someone else. I was young, bound by decisions made for me long before I had the courage to defy them. And though that chapter brought me my children, it also carved wounds into my soul that I've spent years trying to heal. They were born into a world that demanded more from them than it ever gave in return. I spent so long trying to shield them from that world, even when I couldn't shield myself. Perhaps that's why I kept quiet, because talking about them brings back a part of me I thought I'd buried beneath the crown's demands. I remember one night, years ago, my youngest fell asleep in my arms. Her tiny fingers gripped my sleeve like she was afraid I'd disappear if she let go. That night, I swore to never let duty take me so far that I couldn't be a father. But life has a cruel way of testing promises. The more I tried to be present, the more the throne pulled me away. The only thing that kept me sane through those long, cold nights was the thought that one day I would find a kind of love that wasn't bound by expectation. A love I could simply exist in. I found that in you. And perhaps that's why this truth hurts to speak, because it risks the only real thing I've ever had. You once told me that love means letting someone see the parts of you that scare even yourself. I didn't understand the depth of that until now. To love you honestly means to bear everything, even the chapters I've hidden, even the scars I'd rather leave untouched. I've lived too long behind walls built by others. I don't want any walls between us. If I must stand before you stripped of my titles, my history, and my pride, then so be it. I would rather stand before you as a man flawed and human than as a prince who hides behind perfection. Sometimes I fear that the world won't allow us to have the peace we deserve. Every time I try to build something pure, it seems the past finds a way to intrude through whispers, through memories, through duty. But I want to believe that what we share is stronger than all of it. You once told me I carry myself like someone always ready to lose what he loves. Maybe you were right. But if I've learned anything, it's that truth, no matter how heavy, cannot destroy love that's real. It can only purify it. I think about what it would mean for you to meet my children one day. They're still young, still learning to trust a word that has already asked too much of them. I can picture your gentle hands brushing their hair away from their faces, your warmth melting through their guarded hearts. They've lived surrounded by cold marble and royal silence. They've never known the kind of love that exists beyond titles. You could teach them that. You could show them what it means to laugh freely, to belong to something greater than blood, to belong to love. If you can still look at me and see the man you fell in love with, then know that I will never take that grace for granted. You've given me the courage to speak truths I once thought were impossible to share. Whatever comes after this, whether it's acceptance, forgiveness, or even distance, I will bear it with gratitude, because for the first time in my life I have spoken without fear. You have seen the entirety of who I am, the prince, the father, the man who adores you beyond reason. And if you choose to stay, I will spend the rest of my days proving that love, when it is real, doesn't just survive truth, it becomes stronger because of it. The night feels endless tonight, the kind that stretches time until every thought becomes louder than it should be. I can hear the rain against the window, steady, relentless, and it mirrors the rhythm of my mind, restless and unquiet. I keep thinking of you, wondering what emotions crossed your face when you learned the truth. Did you pause for a moment, your heart sinking just a little? Did your faith in me tremble? I wish I could have been there to see your eyes, to explain every unspoken word, to tell you that though my life is tangled with responsibilities, my heart has only ever belonged to you. There's something painful yet freeing about confession. It's as though the weight I carried for years has finally been lifted, even if it leaves me vulnerable in its absence. For so long I've lived two lives, the one demanded by duty and the one guided by love. I've mastered the art of silence, of carrying my truths behind smiles that deceive even those closest to me. But when I met you, that mask began to crack. You didn't just see through it, you shattered it. You made me realize that love without honesty is a shadow of the real thing. So even if this truth brings discomfort, I'd rather face your pain than live with your illusion. I think of my children often, the way they laugh when they forget who they're supposed to be, the way their small hands find comfort in mine despite the world's expectations. They remind me of everything I once lost: innocence, simplicity, peace. I see glimpses of myself in them, but I also see the man I never got to be, the man free from titles, from rules, from unspoken boundaries. When I see them smile, I am reminded that life can still be gentle. And when I think of you, I see that same gentleness, that same light that makes even the heaviest truths bearable. I know you might feel uncertain now, wondering what this means for us, for the love we've built on stolen hours and whispered promises. But I need you to understand something. Nothing about what we share has changed. My past doesn't rewrite the love I have for you. It only gives it context. It shows how far I've come to find something real. You are not stepping into someone else's story. You are helping me write a new one. And in that story, every scar, every mistake, every hidden truth finds redemption through you. There is a strange irony in how the world perceives princes. They see us as untouchable, as though we live lives untouched by loss, regret, or longing. But I've never felt more human than I do when I think of you. When I ache for your touch, when I long to hear your voice in the quiet hours of night, you make me forget the walls of the palace, the whispers of advisors, the suffocating expectations. You remind me that beneath the crown, I am still a man, one who yearns, one who bleeds, one who needs. And it is that truth, not my title, that I offer you now. I can't promise that our path will be easy. The world will always find reasons to doubt us, to twist what they don't understand. There will be questions, glances, and perhaps even more rumors. But if you can hold my hand through it all, I will protect this love with everything I have. I've fought wars for my kingdom. I can fight one more for my heart. Because you are not just someone I love. You are the peace I never thought I'd earn, the home I thought I'd lost forever. So here I am, a man stripped of pretense, standing before the woman who changed everything. My truth lies bare, my heart unguarded, and though I cannot erase the past, I can promise you this: my future belongs to you. Every sunrise that finds me, every breath that leaves my chest will carry your name. You are my redemption, my reason, my beginning again. If you can accept all that I am, the prince, the father, the flawed man who loves you endlessly, then I will spend every moment proving that your love was worth the truth I was